I'm 100% sure this guy watched my videos. Hello and welcome back to Suck War Central. My name is CJ, and before I go any further with this bit, I do want to say I have the full permission and consent of the Hunter Society to use his video in my video. He said, in his words, of course you can do whatever you want with it. So I could use that carte blanche to tear it to pieces, but I won't because firstly, that would be mean, and secondly, I love this video. I do have some nitpicks with it that we're gonna talk about, but I also found some extra evidence that supports exactly what THS was saying, and at the end of the day, I think it's an extremely solid theory. It is, in fact, the silent majority theory I think is third most likely to be true. And sure, nobody wants third place, but as I always say, Hunter x Hunter is so damn complicated and unpredictable that you can almost never find one theory that you really think is the one that is true for any given topic. There are, count 'em, 19 theories I have for the culprit behind silent majority, and not just crack theories. Theories that I've put a lot of thought into and could seriously see being true and have considered making videos on. But this is a Hunter x Hunter channel, not a silent majority channel, so this is the last video I'm gonna make on it. At least until we get new chapters and more information, unless new chapters are already coming out for you guys, since this isn't getting posted till April. So first things first, THS comes up with 3 culprits, more or less. Actually, you know what? I don't want to just spoil it outright, so before you watch the rest of this, go watch his video because like I said, it's an excellent video and I very much enjoy his style and presentation. Link will be in the description. So, assuming you've seen it, you know that THS identifies 3 individuals, and I do want to talk about all 3 of them at least a little. So let's have a look at some of his rationale, shall we?
And no, it is not someone outside room 1014 controlling silent majority. Because, first of all, narratively, it does not make sense. You don't introduce a murder mystery and tell us that the killer is lurking among us and show us these people, and then it will turn out to be someone outside this room or someone that we do not know about. It just does not make sense. It will feel like we got cheated. It doesn't make sense narratively. So it is not someone outside the room.
Huh, that's pretty similar to my main theory. I wonder if...
Unless it's a secret room like the one Morena has, and it's controlled by Pariston/Sheila, and he's trying to mess with Kurapika, the new rat of the Zodiacs. Nah, man, it seems far-fetched to me. I don't think it's someone outside the room.
Oh, alright. So this is what we're doing, eh? Okay, this video's not supposed to be about that theory, but I have to defend my number 1, right? I'll say this. Hunter x Hunter is a series where characters form wrong opinions all the time, and we spend a lot of time following them as they form those incorrect opinions and or revise them and get proven wrong, and this is all very in character for Togashi. Also, narratively, I argue it makes perfect sense. Togashi keeps trying to get us to think big picture, and keeps stressing how all these different plot lines of the Succession War are heavily interconnected. I mean, remember there used to be a time when we all thought Beyond Netero had nothing to even do with the Succession War, and now he's a central figure in 90% of the theories that come out of this fandom. So yes, making the killer someone completely unknown would feel cheap, but by the same token, THS's statements here treat this one plotline as if it's its own isolated murder mystery. I mean, Mr. Hunter Society would get eaten alive by Umineko Episode 3. That's his last name, right? Just like my full name is CJ Suck War Central, his name is The Hunter Society, isn't it? Anyway, my point is that everyone on this boat is part of the murder mystery, and they always have been. Plus, with Morena's pocket dimension, the map I pointed out, and Beyond's involvement in the war, it's not an unfair mystery at all if my theory is right. Togashi has given us all the ingredients to come up with this conclusion ourselves, which is how I came to this conclusion. So with that out of the way and my honor defended, let's get into the actual meat of these theories. Mr. Hunter Society's bronze medal killer is Yuri, the maid of 10th Prince Kacho. Side note, I forgot about the common Japanese lesbianism euphemism for a second and googled Yuri Hunter x Hunter trying to find the wiki page for this maid and
If you're doing a murder mystery, then it sure does make sense for the mystery to be hard to solve. And when you find out, it should be satisfying. And Yuri is a great candidate for that. Let's look at the appearance of silent majority. What does that look like? Well, It looks very similar to Yuri. I mean, just look at that. And then again, we can say that the look of the marionette and the name Silent Majority is based off one of the singers of the J-pop group Kayakazaki 46. It's Togashi's favorite group. Yes, Togashi really loves Kayakazaki 46. But what is more compelling is that this singer is absolutely the inspiration for the Silent Majority look. And she looks also a bit similar to the number 3 suspect. You wanna know what is the name of that singer? Yuri. Yana. Yes, her name is Yana, but you can see the Yuri. So Silent Majority knows the name of Flobbery. I don't see a reason why the guard of like the 13th prince would know the name of the maid of another prince. You know, more will be added to this case. You know, just keep watching. Trust me on this. Keep watching. More will be added and it will make sense in a little bit. But let's move on for now.
No, let's not move on, because THS actually skirted around a really good point in favor of his theory. Now, I hope this doesn't come across as me trying to one-up him, because you know what? I owe this theory to him. I never considered, until he said it, how strange it was for the Silent Majority user to know Lowberry's name. And without that, I never would have come to this conclusion. You see, knowing Lowberry's name is quite suspicious, but even more so is the choice to target her. And guess what? The murder of Berrigan is unique among Silent Majority killings. It's the only one where the distraction component is essential. Nobody else who gets killed by it really needs somebody else to see the marionette for the whole thing to work, because none of them happen in view of a Nen user who could stop it. And if Silent Majority fails to kill somebody, the curse rebounds to the user. So using it in front of a crowd is a big risk. If whoever's possessed by the marionette approaches the situation with a calm and level head, or acts in an unexpected manner, the ability can misfire, and the user gets targeted. So if you had an ability like that, when the chips were down, and messing up was way easier and much more costly, who would you choose to possess? You would choose to possess people that you know very well, and whose reactions to seeing that marionette you could predict. In other words, if Yuri is the user, then Lowberry, the other maid she always works with, is the ideal person to possess. One small problem with all this: Furikov can identify a Nen user at a glance, even those who are trying to hide it, and he didn't see anything in Yuri. As a reminder, the 5 secret Nen users he identified were Lowberry, Longhi, Belarainte, Shadul, and Yuharai. So it can't be Yuri, right? I mean, granted, he only briefly had a view of her face, and you've got to remember that checking people's eyes is how he sees if they're Nen users, and most of the time Lowberry was blocking his line of sight to her, or he was otherwise looking elsewhere, but that's ridiculous. It's not like Yuri could have suddenly become a Nen user in the span of minutes after he checked her. That just doesn't happen. So let's just put a pin in that for now. DHS's next idea for a culprit is Satobi, and nah, I don't think so. Furikov's Nen analysis rules him out, and he is not getting a pin put in him at all. So why am I discounting Satobi, but spending so much time diving into THS's analysis of Yuri? Well, that will all be revealed with Mr. Hunter Society's final speculative culprit, as well as the personal curveball I have to throw at it. So take it away, Mr. Hunter Society.
And without any further ado, this is the user of Silent Majority. It's no one. It is not a singular person. It is a group of people.
Yeah, this was the moment this theory really won me over, and I was like, oh my god, he's onto something. I want to see where this is going.
But if we have to choose one person...
And this was the moment that left me with almost as much disappointment as Chainsaw Man Chapter 231. Okay, jokes aside, Shimano. He says it's Shimano, and as much as I both agree and disagree, let's hear him out because some of his observations are very important to my final thesis, and seeing as he's the one who discovered them, not me, I feel he should also get to be the one who speaks on them. So why does he think it's Shimano? Let's keep watching the video and see if it explains his rationale. I mean, of course it's gonna... Hit the video.
When Kurapika got a phone call from 3 princes and asked to talk to the first prince, she acted on her own and forwarded the 3rd prince. Afterwards, she explained very clearly why she acted against his orders, because she knows the politics, she knows the royal family dynamics, and she knows that choosing to take third Princess Zhangli's call was the best choice. And she was indeed right. And because of her action, that helped to keep Queen Awetu and Wobble safe. And remember that we mentioned at the beginning that the murders that happened, it kind of seems like they are helping Kurapika out, like they're taking out people that, you know, might cause some trouble for Prince Wobble. That because it fits her goal. She has a goal that benefits her. She wants to keep the kids safe as a giant FU to the whole system. A giant FU to the terrible things that empire committed. Out of all the people in that room, believe it or not, Shimano is the only one that we got a backstory for. We know where she comes from. We know that her family served the royals for generations. Both grandparents fulfilled their duties until their death, and her father and mother didn't. They became ill and they died. And on their dying bed, they told her to keep serving this family until she dies. And now I believe she is fulfilling this duty, but not to all of the royal families, because most of the royal families are lunatics, are really bad people. However, Queen Awetu and poor Prince Wobble, they have nothing to do with this. They have nothing to do with this madness that is going on. So of course, she would act in a way that will benefit them. She sees the good in some princes, and she is slowly taking out the guards of the corrupt ones to cause chaos and to weaken the princes, the maniacs that are participating in the war. Some of the eldest princes are conspiring to kill literal children just to take the throne. These are not good people, and Shimano knows that, and she's acting on it. And I have one thing that would really convince you that Shimano is really silent majority. That thing is, quite simply, the names of the Hatsu. It represents something. And if we can agree that there are a lot of similarities between the maids and their outfits and the marionette, we can, I mean, come on, they're basically dressed as the same thing, but maybe like the marionette of silent majority is like the war-ready garb, but it is the same outfit. But take the reference to Kakazaki 46, what we find ourselves with is a majority of people, the maids, who are in a position where they lack power and they lack representation and they are treated really bad. I cannot think of a more fitting name that would represent this kind of power that is shared between a group of people. If this power was used by another suspect in the room, I would seriously have a hard time just to understand why would it be called silent majority. But now when you think of the maids coming together, somehow being able to use this power, now it does make sense. They are a silent majority. The answer was in the title of the video all along. It is not a who. It is not who is silent majority, because it is a what. What is silent majority? It's a collective of people, the maids, that somehow are able to channel that aura into that manifestation, the puppet that summons the snakes and kills people. And the idea of a bunch of people sharing a power was introduced before in Hunter x Hunter, and it is the focus of the Succession War arc.
So yeah, up to this point, I have no issues. I think he's bang on the money. My belief in this theory is that silent majority is an ability shared among the maids. It's not just Shimano's ability. So far so good, full agreement from me, let's keep watching.
Yes, it sounds cool and all, but this theory is invalid, you know, because as we all know, and like I mentioned, Shimano was cleared by Kurapika. And Kurapika clearly questioned Shimano, and she said that she is not silent majority, so yeah, that's that, I guess. Or is it? Did you attack Barragan?
Barragan, the man who died? No, it wasn't me.
Well, it technically wasn't her. I mean, it was the marionette who did the killing, but I digress. Can you use Nin?
That's crazy. I never even heard of it until yesterday.
Can you use Nin is a yes or no question. And she didn't answer. She didn't say yes or no. She just said that she never heard of Nin until yesterday. Well, doesn't have to be called nen. Call it whatever you want. Some people are geniuses in using nen and they do not even know that there is such thing as nen.
Okay, so I do start to have some issues here. THS supposes that Shimano is cleverly and intentionally lying to Kurapika here and getting around dowsing chain through highly specific wording, and I do have to strongly disagree. First of all, I have seen multiple translations of this scene floating around, so I went and checked the raws. And here, where she says, "that's crazy" in the translation THS uses, which is a huge point against her for not answering yes or no, in the original she says tondemonai. So as you can see from Tanoshi Japanese, my dictionary of choice, when tondemonai is used as an expression instead of an adjective, it does in fact mean no. So yeah, this is one of the many mistakes that different translations, including the official, can make. And this is why I always get really anal about translations, because they can have huge consequences. Like, incorrectly translating this is really bad, because saying no has huge plot significance, as it clears Shimano from suspicion. So any translation that does not have her say no here, because tondemonai is a no, is bad in my opinion. But yeah, Kurapika asked if she could use nen, and the first thing she said was no. That does blow a big fat hole in THS's theory here, and I want to stress that's not his fault. He shouldn't have to go check the raws. That's the fault of the translator. So anyway, THS then goes from here into talking about the manga They Were 11, which I've already talked about in my videos on the subject, and oh buddy, again, I want to stress, I have the utmost respect for THS, and overall this is an extremely good video, and I never could have come up with this theory if I didn't have his to inspire me. That being said, I feel this is the moment in his video that he makes the biggest mistake in his entire process. See, he points out that this whole thing is foreshadowed by the manga They Were 11, in which a character with a lie detection power almost sniffs out the traitor, but the traitor uses a clever deception to fool him. Let's let the man speak.
You convince yourself that there is no chance. I mean, Kurapika cleared Shimano, so she's not silent majority. Come on. Think again. Just like Tada questions his own powers and he questions himself and he explains that, some people can get around it and trick my powers, Kurapika, for no reason whatsoever, mentions the same thing. Back in chapter 348, that was the seed. That was the flaw in Kurapika's chain. Kurapika's abilities can be tricked, and the parallels with They Were 11 right now to me are obvious.
Did you see it? Let me spell it out for you. Dude, you were so close. You were so close. You literally highlighted the line that gave away the exact answer, and then you never talked about it. When I watched your video and saw you highlighting it, I thought, oh my god, he's going there, and then he doesn't go there. He takes the safe way out and just says Shimano is the person at the center of this silent majority movement. Mr. Hunter Society's fatal mistake wasn't making an incorrect assumption or getting something wrong. It was failing to knock down that final bowling pin. He got a spare when he deserved a strike. I feel like a parasite right now because I am stealing glory that should be rightfully his. He should have been the one to come up with this theory, but he didn't. I'm not a genius who's cooked you all a 5-star meal. I'm just the person who remembered to take it out of the oven and serve it. So, I've said it before in this video, and I'll say it again. Please, go give Mr. Hunter Society's channel some love, because truly, he's the one who made this meal you're eating right now. So fine, I guess I'll explain it or whatever. When he said silent majority belongs to no one, he was right. And like he said, we've seen examples of this throughout the arc. Every damn organization seems to have some kind of autonomous group nen ability. But the one that silent majority is most similar to is Zombie Girl from the GU family. It's an ability that spontaneously comes to the aid of GU Mafia members who kill somebody in public and need to discreetly hide the body. And it's a post-mortem nen ability from the GU family's Undertaker, who previously died. So what I posit is this. All of the Kakin Empire's royal maids can use silent majority, but none of them know about it or have been trained in nen. And just like Kurapika says, sleeper agents who don't know they're lying are his weakness. So I think silent majority is an ability designed to watch over the maids from beyond the grave, created by another maid who died serving the royal family in one way or another. Maybe Shimano's parents, I don't know. Like a guardian spirit, it bounces from maid to maid, and they take turns being its user. While silent majority is transferred to a specific maid, they become a Nen user, and the information on how exactly silent majority works is beamed into their mind just like when Stealth Dolphin hits Oito. They use the ability in whatever way they can to serve their interests, and then boom, it bounces to a different maid, and the one who just used it completely forgets it ever happened. It's the perfect agent of the masses. Revolutionary leaders, people who try to foment change and plan assassinations, they can be killed, but if silent majority's user dies, well, it just bounces to a different maid. And what's more, it makes the rebound effect make even more sense. If the curse kills its user, then it just keeps on bouncing. Only now, the previous failed user has powered it up even further with postmortem Nen, and they no longer have the memories to tell anybody how the ability works if they're interrogated because they're fucking dead. It's the perfect agent of change. It can kill off oppressors. The culprit is nearly impossible to catch and identify, especially in a society where the high-ranking royals and soldiers all use Nen and will be looking for a Nen user. And the only way to stamp it out is to kill all the maids. And obviously they can't do that, because they need the maids, the same way the wealthy 1% need the working class that they oppress. Think about it. If silent majority kills somebody, everybody's gonna be on the lookout for a Nen user, so an ability that passes from person to person, but only between people who aren't trained in Nen, well, they're never gonna figure it out. The maids killing from the shadows to steer things to their advantage will never be caught. One of my favorite things THS said in his video is that the silent majority doll looks like a maid dressed for war. Because it is! This isn't just a tool of Nen warfare, it's a tool of class warfare. It is the common people's only hope to strike back against the system that grinds them into meat. The majority is not silent because they hold their tongues. The silent majority is silent because they literally do not remember. So yeah, Shimano is the user of silent majority, but so is Yuri. And I think this explains why the behavior of the person using the ability varies wildly, even though their goals seem pretty darn consistent. I think, after Furikov had already checked her, silent majority got passed to Yuri, and she used it to kill Berrigan. As for Muhan and Woody and everyone else who died day one, well, they could have been killed by any one of the silent majority aboard this ship who promptly forgot that they were the culprit. With all that being said, I've been CJ from Suck War Central. I just want to once again give the Hunter Society a huge thank you for giving me carte blanche to use his video, and I hope you check out his channel. Just as I hope you have a wonderful day.